The note was taped to my bathroom mirror. Asterisk, I stood there, staring at it, as if the handwriting itself was mocking me. Neat, perfectly rounded letters. Written in pink ink, the kind a teenager would use for diary entries or silly doodles. A glitter sticker in the corner shaped like a heart. Asterisk, but the words? They weren't sweet. They weren't loving. They read, "Loser old woman, you stink. Thanks for the free house. Thanks for the jewels." Asterisk, my reflection wavered in the steam, the mirror, fogging slightly from the shower I had taken not long before, but her words, the cruelty, the spite remained perfectly clear. Burning through the condensation as though etched in acid, asterisk, the faucet was still dripping. The tiles beneath my bare feet were cold, and the sound of that steady drip, 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 seemed to echo in the silence of the house. Asterisk, except it wasn't really silence. It was emptiness. No footsteps in the hall, no baby crying, no voices from the kitchen, only the soft hum of the ceiling fans spinning above an empty home. My home. But it wasn't mine anymore. Asterisk, I reached for the note slowly, my fingers brushed the cheap paper, and I peeled it off the mirror, inch by inch, the way you peel skin from a blister. Not because it hurt, but because I wanted to feel it every second of what was about to start. Because this wasn't just a note, this was the declaration of war, 3 days ago. I had handed my son the deed. Asterisk, he had cried when I placed it in his hands, big, fat tears rolling down his face. He hugged me so tight I could barely breathe, whispering, "Mom, you're saving our lives. You're the strongest woman I know. We'll never forget this." Asterisk, but his wife. Asterisk, she didn't cry, she didn't even hug me. She gave me that tight little smile, the one she always wore when trying to look humble. The kind of smile that cracks like cheap plastic under pressure. Asterisk, I saw it. I felt it. But I ignored it because they said they had debt. $170,000. In credit cards, loans, mistakes. I believed them. I cashed out what was left of my retirement. I sold the land at Habitstown that my late husband and I had worked so hard to keep. I cleared every cent of their debt. Then I handed them the deed to the house I had lived in for 40 years. Asterisk, I told them I'd rent a studio, that I'd start small. That family was worth more than property. I believed family still meant something. I was wrong. That night, I made dinner. Pot roast, the same way my mother had made it when I was a child, slow, tender, with rosemary and garlic. The smell filled the house, warm and comforting, but they were already packing. I saw the suitcases by the door. I noticed the missing passport folder the next morning. When I checked the bank app, I saw the wire transfer, $1.2 million. Gone. Asterisk, the account number led to the Cayman Islands. The name on the receipt wasn't my son's, it was hers. My daughter-in-law. Asterisk, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. The betrayal didn't explode, seeped in like poison. Quiet, cold. Asterisk, instead, I walked to my old study. The room no one entered anymore. Inside, tucked behind dusty photo albums, was a drawer. And inside that drawer sat the wireless router. And something far more important. Asterisk, they didn't know. They didn't ask. Asterisk, last year, when they first moved in, I had upgraded the system. Smart cameras, audio feeds, microphones hidden behind the molding. A hallway camera with no blinking light. I sat, I pressed play, and I listened. Asterisk, her voice came first. Asterisk, the old hag actually did it. Told you she would. Asterisk, laughter. His voice joined hers, lighter, crueler than I had ever heard. Asterisk, we sell the place. Take the cash, leave the country. Asterisk, and your mother? She asked, mocking. Asterisk, she's not my mother anymore, he said, just a dumb widow with a savior complex. Asterisk, then came the kissing sounds. The clink of glasses, plans for a beachfront condo in Tulum, my own son. My own blood. Asterisk, planning my erasure. Asterisk, they didn't know I was in the room with them, hearing everything. Recording everything. The next day, I visited the real estate agent they had used, a woman in her 40s, fingers trembling as she shuffled papers. Her apologetic smile faltered when she saw me. The house was listed. Sold. Asterisk, finalized within hours. Asterisk, cash buyer overseas. No inspection, no delay. Asterisk, she slid a folder across the desk. The closing documents, and there it was, my name. My forged signature. Asterisk, the notary stamp was fake. The theft was complete. But she didn't know who she was dealing with. Because I slid my own folder across the table. Inside, transcripts, audio logs, time-stamped bank movements. A video of my son laughing as he dragged my photograph off the wall. Asterisk, can you tell me? I asked quietly, what kind of charges come with elder fraud and identity theft? Her face paled. I stood asterisk, send that to your legal team, I told her. I'll take it from here. I tracked their flight. I knew their hotel. I knew their room. Asterisk, I knew when they'd be out eating ceviche, congratulating themselves. Asterisk, my lawyer contacted the embassy. Asterisk, by the time they got back to their room, their passports were flagged, their bank account frozen. But that wasn't what mattered. What mattered was the email. Asterisk, I had scheduled it to arrive the moment they stepped inside. My son always checked his phone first. Always. When he opened it, he'd see everything. The footage, the audio, the forged documents, the charges already in motion. And one line from me. Asterisk, you built your future on a lie. I sold it back to the bank. The condo. It was never theirs. I had bought it back under a shell corporation before the ink dried. They had sold it to me at a loss, not even realizing. By sunrise, they'd be extradited. Asterisk, last night, I moved into my studio apartment. Asterisk, no photographs, no furniture. Just a mattress on the floor and a kettle on the counter. Small, quiet, but mine. Asterisk, I sat by the window, sipping tea that tasted faintly of lemon and new paint. My phone buzzed. Asterisk, a voicemail from an unknown number. I didn't listen, I deleted it. The past is loud, but silence is power. They never understood that. I picked up the note, the one with the glitter heart. The one that called me loser, old woman, and held it over the sink. Asterisk, the paper curled in the flame. Blackening, shrinking. Asterisk, the fire was small, steady, just like me. They thought they stole a home, but they never saw the war room beneath it. Asterisk.